Welcome to this breakout session on a very special project that we did with the Flemish Government on energy saving in the frame of sustainability. And we are very proud on that project. It's energy saving on IT equipment, energy saving on IT technology, and with that we won a very special prize on the award of Computable, the best IT project in government for this year. So very proud to present this to you now. Who are we? Luc, perhaps you can introduce yourself.
Well, that's me. I'm Luc Verdegem. I'm the head of ICT of the facility company of the Flemish Government. And I'm in charge of all ICT for our people, but also in our buildings. I'm losing my ear, I think. Also in our buildings, smart IT, IoT, networking. We have some audiovisual, more than 2,000 meeting rooms. All the stuff that happens in a building, it's in my department, and my team, I see some of them in the room, are making sure that our colleagues from the Flemish Government can accelerate and work for you, the civilian, the companies in Flanders.
And the guy below, that's me, with a photo from a few years ago, I guess. So, energy saving. Why should we save energy? There is an abundance of energy in the world. In 2017, Dr. Fawaz explained, and I will read it together with you. Every 2 minutes, the energy reaching the Earth from the Sun is equivalent to the whole annual energy use of humanity. That means all the energy, the cars, the lighting, the air conditioning, the heating, the cooling, in 1 year is equivalent of 2 minutes of sun. So there is an abundance of energy that comes to our planet. Now in the meantime, the population has grown on our planet. The industrial activity has grown, the energy demand has grown. Suppose that we are now at 3 minutes, or 4 minutes, or 5 minutes, or 15 minutes. The main message is if we could just grasp a fraction of the energy that comes to our planet, we can transform our planet from one that is fueled by fossil fuel and threatened by climate change into a planet that is completely fueled by 100% green, clean energy. That would be great. Unfortunately, we are not there yet. We are lacking the technology to efficiently capture, store, transport and distribute all that energy in long distances towards the consumers. So what do? We have to do then as organizations? Instead, as a society, we are under a lot of frameworks, a lot of pressure to implement as organization. Legislation on national and European level to comply with corporate social responsibility, the ESG norms, science-based targets that we have to implement, electrification of your car fleet, etc., etc. And the newest things are arriving now, the directives on due diligence and reporting from the European Union. So millions of euro that we have to spend as an organization to become more sustainable and to save energy. So indeed, we need to save energy in the buildings where we work as a company. Now let's take a look at those buildings. Figures shown that 40% of global energy goes to buildings, offices, manufacturing and houses. 75% are energy insufficient. Installation is not good, mainly the homes. A present that we got from COVID, 60% of the co-workers come to the office. 40% stay at home, and we adopted all a hybrid way of working. But the last one in red is the one that we are tackling today. 60% of a day, so 60% of 24 hours, there is no one in the building. No person in the building. So why should we stay or keep up the network during those 60%? And that was the challenge that the Flemish Government had. They had a lot of buildings and all the IT networks and access points and etc. The Wi-Fi stayed on the whole night during that 60%. So we with Proximus, we said, okay, let's take up that challenge. We want to find a solution to turn your building environment into a dynamic workplace, which adapts automatically to the usage and the presence of people. And that was a challenge. And look, I think, can you elaborate a little bit on your environment?
Yes, so I'm working for the facility company. It doesn't look like it, but this is too big, this is too small, this is what I need, I'm getting old. So if you go to the next one, Erik, I will guide you a bit to the facility companies. So we have actually 4 big parts of the company where we do real estate for the Flemish government. So we build, rent, renovate around 200 offices. We have 90 building projects a year, so that's quite big. We manage them, all the projects, then we do the facilities in the buildings. We run around 20,000 workplaces, so that's quite a lot. Where we do the furniture, but also cleaning, catering, all security, physical security, camera, all that kind of stuff. Everything around mobility. Another big part of the company is our archive. So we do the whole physical and digital archive for the Flemish government. So everything that is digitalized, that needs to be stored, we have the solutions for that. We do Digipost, so the Flemish government only has one postal address and all post is collected in one office, and then we scan it and distribute it by email to the whole for 60,000 people, so that's quite a big application. And also a physical archive. There's a lot of stuff that still needs to be on paper, like for justice, like building plans and all that kind of stuff, and we have in Vilvoorde a very big depot where we store all physical archive. And then last but not least, we have like average 250 frame agreements in the market. So we from cleaning over IT material, over gardening, over drone inspection, all that kind of stuff. We put it in the market so that our agencies and villages can use the frame agreements. Then Erik, I made a little timeline and about sustainability and the parallels between sustainability and network. And quite funny, it's also the timeline of the partnership between Telindus, Belgacom, Proximus NXT and the Flemish government. Because in all of the frame agreements we made Proximus, Belgacom, Telindus, NXT was always the partner for certainly for network. So one nice thing, I will try to, in the Broedland report, some very important person, sustainability in 1987 was the first time ever that it officially was recognized in a document from the European Parliament. So it's already well, around 40 years that we are talking about a greener planet. And in 2003 we made the first agreement, frame agreement for IT services with that time Telindus, the Proximus NXT of today. That was for 5 years. And then also in 2000, by the end of that first agreement, there was a Flemish law that was promoted sustainability within the Flemish government. And that moment we renewed the contract, and again, Telindus, Proximus NXT, was for the next 7 years by then our partner for network. 2010. We started Wi-Fi. We had a lot of buildings, there was not that much Wi-Fi, so we started together with Proximus the rollout of a Wi-Fi network today. I think about more than 4,500 access points around the Flemish government, so quite big. 2015, new frame agreement, big one, and again for networking, Proximus, then still I think Belgacom or already HB Plus actually with DXC. And was the first time we bought new equipment thinking about power. Like if you buy a refrigerator, you have A, B, C, D, E levels. That was the first time we actually looked at power consuming at equipment. So that was quite a milestone in our thinking. Then in 2016 there came a long-term vision, Sure 2030, Sure 2050 from Europe and from the Belgium and Flanders. About a strategy about sustainability, and we as a facility company all wanted to be, of course, the main the main leveler of sustainability in our buildings. Then 2016 I see Cisco in the room. We went to Barcelona and talked for the first time with them about power saving options, because Cisco is an American company, and in America at that time, sustainability, they didn't care less. There was oil enough, there was no problem with energy. So we start talking with them because they needed some development on the Wi-Fi access points. So we start talking with them, and we had our new sustainable strategy enrolled for the whole Flemish government, and we became SDG pioneers. So we signed the UN SDG program as pioneers to start using all sustainability goals from the UN. Then 2018, 2019, 2020, we did the full rollout of our new software-defined network, where we had from Cisco the feature to use the Save the Power option. And then also we became SDG champions. So that means that we actually have to translate the SDG requirements into goals and into our operational plans. And then today we are actually rolling out the whole project about power savings, and we will have some figures about that program. Some facts and figures is that we have more than 200 buildings. We have 30,000 end users in total, and I think the double of visitors a year. We have actually all day people coming out. More than 40,000 connected devices, IoT, but also laptops, mobile phones, iPads, but a lot of IoT. I said 4,500, it's already 5,500 Wi-Fi access points, 12,000 routers and switches, 420 meeting rooms where we have a smart device hanging on the outside that's for reservation purposes. Almost of more than 400 printers, batch readers to come in and out of the building, and some IP phones still. So a lot of devices that uses a lot of power. So we need to do something about that.
So this was our challenge.
Absolutely.
How can we influence power usage on this park, this equipment, all these assets? So what was the trick over there? The advantage was that everything was powered over Ethernet. So all across Flanders we use the same architecture with distribution switches from Cisco, and the access points are connected to those distribution switches, and they're using power over Ethernet. So that was an easy one, because in that time the DNA center software allowed to create calendars where you can program time frames where the access points could be lowered down in power usage. So that was a very easy one to install. You just have to define calendars according to the buildings. They have a lot of types of buildings, the tall ones until the very small ones. So that was a whole exercise to make the different calendars for these buildings. But then we saw that we could do a lot of use cases. We could influence the power per access point, or we can group access points and reduce the power. We were able to lower energy on the complete floor or complete building. Even if we want, we can bring down the whole of Flanders on energy level for the access points. That was the easy part. What was more difficult was all the other devices that the Flemish government had in place. The printers, the roomies are the small screens on the meeting rooms to do your reservation, point of sale, but also the IoT sensors, IoT equipment which are installed. We cannot use the calendar function of Cisco to manage the energy level, because that was an easy one. What we did with our team at Proximus NXT, we have people specialized in scripting on DNA Center. So what we did, we created special scripts in software to influence the ports of your distribution switch. And we can say at that point in time, during the day, we want to bring down a switch on the port on the switch, so we can reduce the power of an IoT device which is connected on that. And then we saw that we could, via scripting, do exactly the same use cases as before with the calendars. So we can bring down individual ports per floor, per building, or even if we want, influence the complete Flemish region. So what was the approach that we did? So technology-wise, we were okay, check in the box. Flemish government had installed the old access points from Cisco, the 2805. Those were not addressable via the new features of DNA Center, so we needed to change the access points, which is quite some investment. But then, of course, we have means available from Europe or on Flemish or national level to get subsidies for that. So the total capex investment that the Flemish government had to do was subsidized by a body where Luc obtained several million of euros. And then we said, okay, check in the box, we have the new access points, we have the technology, then we need to select a new access point which is available and which would render the Flemish government ready for the next 10 years in the life cycle, but also which can handle all those energy changes. So we built at Proximus NXT a complete lab where we tested all the available access points at that point in time, and Cisco has a lot of them. Cisco really has a lot of them. And what we came up with, the team said we're gonna go for the 9166, which was the brand new at that point in time. And that was very strange, because the access point takes more power than the old 2805. So that's a bit contradictory. How can you select now a device which consumes more power than the old one? What we discovered, and it was very unique, is that this access point during the daytime was 500% more efficient in handling data, in transferring data. And suddenly a new language came up. Suddenly the engineers and the consultants were talking about, hey, we have now a device which has an energy consumption per megabyte transferred, which was completely new in the IT department. We talk about bandwidth and latency, etc. Here we are talking about energy consumption per megabyte transferred. And it looked like, okay, the 9166 was the best device, best performance. And then at that point in time, the project team said, okay, now we're gonna buy all the equipment and we start installing the full of Flanders, all the buildings equipping with this new kind of access points. But then we forgot something. That was a learning point. So we had the technology, we had the funding, we had the brains in-house. So from a central point, we could manage the whole of Flanders, everything what was happening in the building. With the communication towards the building responsible people in every region, they said, yeah, but you cannot do that. You cannot do that. Just turn down after hours the power or the network. We have events. The Flemish government has a public function, so they organize a lot of events for citizens, for enterprises, for NGOs, for other stakeholders. We, as a project team, we don't know what is happening in all those buildings. So we turned to the building managers and they said, we must be able to announce an event in the future. So what we did with Proximus NXT, we designed a specialized portal where they can now enter, for instance, next Friday from 6 o'clock in the evening to 9 o'clock in the evening, we have an event. So he announces the event, and automatically all the calendars and all the scripts that were available are postponed until later in the night. And that was a very fine solution to merge the worlds of automating with the technology and human interfacing. Now look, what was the yield of this project?
Okay, well, lead by example. I think we as Flemish government need to be an example in the world. And what we did is we did the POC for you. We did we funded all the research. So actually, the project is there. The roadmap is there, so everybody can use it now. We need to fulfill the objects of the Flemish government, of course. That is saving 55% of CO2 and 35% of energy. That's a lot. But it started in 2005 and it needs to be finished in 2030. Of course, the growing importance of green IT. Everybody knows green IT. We need to be sustainable. That's of course for sure. Then of course the energy cost, the bill, getting the bill down is also a nice goal to obtain. And we got some money from an energy management government buildings saving program. So that was quite nice to have because we invested 2 million buying, do the study, do the POC, and also buying the new equipment. But we are saving 323,000 euros a year on the energy bill. So that's quite a lot. Of course, we have a lot of buildings. It will not be those figures in smaller buildings. But most importantly is that, as Erik already told, we bring 60% of the time we can bring the devices down. It's Saturday, Sunday, morning, evening, nobody's in the building, so we bring everything down. So that was one of our main goals. And we needed to have a payback time for 10 years to get the money. We are going to get our investment back in 6 years. So just on proof is the bill. The electricity bill is the proof, so quite simple to report that, but that's quite easy. And we are doing power savers, and I'm not the guy from the electricity, but it seems these are quite big figures, but I do not know anything about electricity. So, in the end, what did we achieve? We did, of course, the cost reduction. For sure, we have lower operational costs. We have significant savings on the long term on the equipment, on the electricity bill. We have more efficient IT infrastructure because it's only used when you needed it. It's quite important. Of course, sustainability and environment awareness within the company. Everybody is thinking about sustainability today because we are bringing it into the company, into the Flemish government. It's quite important. Also, in our branding from your company today, it's quite important that you have in your branding also have sustainability somewhere as your goals, because young people, new recruitments are actually looking at that. So that's quite important. We are carrying out our tasks as SDG champions. Very important for the Flemish government as small part of the world that we can show we can also do it. It's quite important for our boss. And of course, compliance with laws in this and all that kind of stuff need you to be compliant. We also have some buildings under the critical environment, and so we need this reporting. We need this thing just to be compliant. Also very important today. Then finishing up with next. We have a lot of IoT. We don't do it for the moment, like cameras, like smart cash registers we are using. Everything comes with a network cable today. Even the coffee machine, the smoothie machine, everything comes with a network cable. So that means that we can control it. And that's our next level. We are now looking with Proximus NXT to gain some more, to add some more IoT into the project. And then next step is actually integrating the whole building management system in our power saving, so we actually can run a whole building on temperature, on environment, on CO2, on power, everything around this project. So and next, and maybe the word we didn't use, AI. You need to say something about AI, so we're also going to use AI to predict actually when we can bring devices down or when we need to bring them up. So we have a lot of next things on our agenda, and quite nice that it is also recognized that we had a nice award in the early months this year. So it means that we are doing a good job.
A very good job. And indeed, we are very proud. The people from Computable Awards, they said it was the best IT project in government, and it's not about this time about application or data center migration or cloud migration, all the fancy stuff. It's about basic IT technology, network technology, where we, with the brains of human people, we can reduce a lot of energy and save a lot of money for the company and for the world. Using IT to get a greener world is quite important today, and that's what we are doing. And I hope we can be an example for all of you. Take it home, and the roadmap is there, so you can use it and just click and install. Okay.
Proximus NXT. Think possible.